Hi guys, I'm choosing one of my homework assignments that I have up here. It's specifically on scatter plots, and I put mine into Microsoft Word just to show you how to use the check accessibility tool. Usually on the top of the screen there's a button that would say tools, and you can click on the check accessibility, and then what should happen is it's going to bring up this next tab on the right hand side of your screen that's going to tell you all of the inspection results that you might have to fix, that will assist with students that need those um, ideas. So the first thing that pops up online is the missing alternative text. So what's going to do is it's going to click on every single image for you there, and you're going to see that on the screen. What you can do is then kind of scroll down here. It's going to tell you why to fix it. So with the alternative text, the images and objects is very important for people who can't see the screen. So it might read them aloud for them, and it helps them with understanding the image. So it tells you the steps how to do that. So if I right click on the image and then I select the word edit alt text, it's going to come up with a recommendation of 1 to 2 sentences that you would describe this image. So I might type, oops, this is a graph that shows a increasing and decreasing trend. What type of correlation is presented? And then you can mark it, and then you can go back to your check accessibility page, and then you would do the same thing for the remaining tables here. So I would again describe it with 1 to 2 sentences in each case. So this is one thing that I never really thought about as a math teacher, that thinking about what you would have to do to describe these types of images on a homework in the case that someone could not see this. So I think it's important that that is kind of described first. Another thing that they talk about is the no header row with a table, and that's going to take us to my one table in my work here where it says this kind of helps provide context and aid navigation of a table. So if they can't see the table, they can have column headings to read aloud. So to do this, it's a little bit trickier. I had to kind of play around with this. So I have to click the word layout at the top of the screen, and then if I hit view table design, I believe, it's going to come up with this page where it says you need to have a header row, and then you click header row, and then it should all be set for each case in that problem. And then I have the image or object not in line. So again, it's going to come back to your images, some of them. So the images not in line, this might be difficult for screeners to use to interact with the object, so it may also be difficult to know where the object is relative to the text. So to do this, you just right click on the image, and then you go to wrap text, and then you click in line with text. So now it is going to move the images around here a little bit, but then you can move them back, I believe, and to double check to make sure that it's well, it's going to say it's in line. So you kind of have to play around with it a little bit to rearrange the pages a little bit with the numbers and everything, but it should work out that then everything is in order for them to see what's going on. So let's see the last thing here, and then there's some other images. There's some errors. You have to fix the remaining ones. Some of them again are missing some alternative text, but a lot of these are easy fixes, just to put them in line and then rearrange the page so that it's easier for students that need that to be seen. there are some things in here that I thought that I could fix. So if I get out of the accessibility check and the alt text here and just look at this top, the whole page, what I kind of found from the online um, handbook was that sometimes it's easier to have certain fonts. So some of the fonts that I have here just in the top are Times New Roman, and some of the ones that are a little bit easier to use, Arial, Helvetica, or Veranda. These types, so if I just change this to the Arial font, this kind of magnifies the the font for those that might have low vision, so something's a little bit easier to see. Um, might help. What I also saw is sometimes there might be some incorrect heading for the pages, and if it's selected as a normal template, might have some color contrast issues sometimes. So sometimes it might be easier to change it to a proper heading in some cases, and that's an easy fix to do also. But one thing, and this is not specifically in this homework page, but a lot of math is obviously dealing with equations, and it's important that I need to make sure that I'm using the correct equation software. And what we use a lot is just I either use the equations from in here from Microsoft. If I do symbols, kind of come over to equations here, and that's just a Microsoft equation. But what the book and what the UDL design and the online handbook talk about is using something called Math Type, which is just a plugin to Microsoft, so it's easier and more accessible to use in that case. So that's what I have for my first link here about my homework page. But those are some things that just some real easy things to fix and kind of play around with in the future in each case. So.